Tonight on News Prime, Shettima seeks education system capable of addressing modern challenges. The business, pension funds, investments in government securities hit over 13 trillion naira. On the foreign scene, UK Prime Minister Starmer promises economic revival amid bumpy start in power. And in sports, FIFA to reveal Club World Cup draw amid apathy legal threats. Hello and welcome to all of our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agbomofwebe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and free to air on Night Consult. Let's begin by telling you Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for an education system capable of addressing modern challenges. The Vice President made the call during the opening plenary of the Africa Student Leaders General Assembly and Ordinary Congress in Abuja. Shettima, who was represented by personal assistant to President Bola Tinubu on domestic Northeast, Mahmoud Mahmad, urged African students to embrace the realities of the continent while striving for global excellence. Amid growing controversy over the proposed tax reform bill, Governor Uzodinma has called for informed dialogue rather than baseless criticism. Speaking to government house correspondents in Owerri, Imo State capital, the governor urged critics to thoroughly review the bill and provide specific recommendations for improvements.
Well, my understanding of the bill is that many of us who are criticizing the bill have not even taken time to go through the bill, to understand the merits or otherwise of the bill that has been presented. I would therefore want to call on all of us to take time and study the bill and identify those areas that think that are not are desirable to enable us to criticize it. I have occasions where people complain of multiple taxations. I've had occasions where people complain of the presence of many agencies at different locations collecting taxes. One thing I have seen that this bill intends to achieve is to have a harmonized position where different types of taxes can be paid through a single window. For me, it is an advanced method of collecting taxes all over the world. If there are some of the taxes anybody thinks that is not going to go down well with the public, let us understand which of those taxes, and then we will reason together and then find a solution.
The governor also said tax reforms are crucial for national development and economic sustainability. He encouraged lawmakers, economists, and citizens to collaborate in refining the bill to ensure it meets Nigeria's developmental needs. On a side note, a fire has engulfed a section of Queen Elizabeth Hall, a female-only hostel for undergraduates at the University of Ibadan. The incident occurred in the early hours of today, although the exact cause of the fire remains unknown as of the time of this report. The fire primarily affected the offices of the hall warden and the secretary, raising concerns about the safety and security of students residing in the facility. The Senate, at commencement of plenary, has replaced the Chief Whip, Senator Tahiru Mangono, with Senator Kakashew to represent the Northeast geopolitical zone in the committee scheduled to meet with the Attorney General of the Federation on the tax reform bills earlier on today. The Senate had constituted a 10-man committee headed by Minority Leader Senator Abba Moro to meet with the Attorney General of the Federation and address the gray areas in the tax reform bills that have ignited opposition to the bills, but the Senate resolved that principal officers of the Red Chamber should not be part of the meeting apart from the committee members. The Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, in his submission during plenary, however, said Senator Moro is made chairman of the committee to ensure transparency. In a different development, a bill proposing the creation of a coastal state from the current Ondo state has passed its first reading in the Senate. The bill, sponsored by Senator Jimo Ibrahim, representing APC in Ondo South, seeks a constitutional amendment to enable the establishment of the new state, aimed at fostering development in riverine communities within Ondo's southern senatorial district. Speaking on the bill, Senator Ibrahim emphasized the importance of the proposed coastal state in accelerating the socio-economic growth of the region, particularly its riverine areas, addressing concerns over alleged plans to incorporate Ondo's southern senatorial district into the proposed Ijebu state. The senator opposed the idea as he declared that the district must remain part of the current Ondo state or the proposed coastal state. Ahead of the December 7th general election in Ghana, former President Goodluck Jonathan has led a delegation of the West African Elders Forum observation mission to Accra. The forum's communications officer, Wealth Ominabo, said on arrival in Ghana, the former president urged Ghanaians to be patriotic and work for a peaceful, free, and transparent election. He commended the people of Ghana for their enduring commitment to democratic values, noting that Ghana's history of peaceful political transitions serves as a beacon for the democratic governance across the African continent. The Nigerian Army has organized a workshop aimed at enhancing cooperation between the military, media, and other security agencies to address the growing challenges posed by the digital media landscape. The event, held at the Nigerian Army School of Public Relations and Information in Giri, Abuja, brought together security and paramilitary representatives, media professionals, and online publishers. Kikelomo Okiri now reports.
The workshop themed Leveraging Digital Social Media Influence for Effective Military Operation Within a Joint Environment was designed to explore how media can serve as a force multiplier in supporting military operations. The acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, who was represented by the Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Major General Nosakare Ubu, emphasized the media's pivotal role in supporting the Army's constitutional duties in promoting the national security. He commended the media for their roles in reporting the Army's achievements and reinforcing the need to combat fake news to foster public confidence in the military.
The media shapes not only the public perception, opinion, and narratives, but also influences and galvanizes public support, which is a vital variable for operational successes. To this end, the continuous and seamless collaboration between the Nigerian Army and the media must be maintained at all times.
The Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwanchukwu, highlighted the crucial roles of the media in shaping public perception, particularly in the era where digital platforms often fueled misinformation and disinformation. He noted that while social media presents opportunities for the military to communicate its successes, it also poses risk by spreading false information that can undermine public trust and national security.
Ladies and gentlemen, is also organized as part of efforts by the Nigerian Army to further enhance the existing relationship amongst stakeholders in information management, the Nigerian Army and the public in the interest of national security and nation building.
The Commandant, Nigerian Army of Public Relations and Information, Lieutenant General Adamu Ngude, announces plans to modernize NASPRI, transforming it into a world-class institution aimed at equipping Army personnel with advanced skills to navigate modern media challenges. He says the workshop is aimed to strengthen the partnership between the military and the media to foster understanding, improve information management, and craft positive narrative to back national security efforts.
It is high time we realize that in modern warfare, the media plays a pivotal role for any successful military operations. This is because the media space has become the ultimate decider of who wins or loses the war. Therefore, the need to always collaborate with media for successful military operations becomes paramount for promoting the right narrative and messaging.
The workshop elaborates the importance of seamless collaboration between the Nigerian Army and the media in achieving national security goals. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kikelomo, for your reporting right there. The Defense Headquarters says troops of internal operations in the 5 theaters across the country have neutralized over 8,000 terrorists, arrested 11,623 others, while over 6,000 hostages were rescued between January and December 2024. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who gave the figures at the bi-weekly updates on military operations, said troops also recovered over 8,200 weapons, more than 211,000 ammunition and stolen crude oil. In a bid to ensure the development of quality infrastructure across Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma has been touring various ongoing projects aimed at addressing the state's infrastructure gaps and improving the quality of life for its residents. Amarachi Ibe was on the governor's entourage and now reports.
The governor began his tour at the Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu Convention Center in Owerri, a flagship project designed to transform the state into a hub for national and international events. The convention center, once completed, is expected to boost tourism, create job opportunities, and elevate Imo State's profile on the global stage. The governor moved to the Control Maria Assumpta Cathedral flyover, a critical infrastructure project aimed at easing traffic congestion in the state capital. The flyover is expected to significantly improve the flow of movements within Owerri.
So all we have seen is all the facility and international conference center. 80% complete. You saw the flyover at Assumpta Cathedral roundabout, almost 70% complete. You've come to Olu, you've seen the road, the Banana Junction to Eziashi, and the government house are next. In our quest to decentralize government, we have taken it upon us to build a government house annex in Olu and another one in Okibu.
Next on the list was the ongoing rehabilitation of Eziachi-Olu Road, a key link road connecting several communities. This road, which has long been in a state of disrepair, is being revitalized to enhance access and improve transportation for residents. Governor Hope Uzodinma also visited the new government house annex. He commended the contractors for staying on the track with the project timeline and emphasized the importance of such projects in boosting governance efficiency.
It's not only a federal road, it's also connecting some other states. From here I can get to Anambra State. From here I can get to Akwa Ibom State and Abia State. And the level of devastation is so alarming that ordinarily one will assume that it's above the strength of a state government. But we have borrowed courage somehow to see how we can rescue our people from this malady.
Some residents of Eziachi expressed gratitude to the governor for reconstructing the road.
Before now it has been flooded, and in fact I don't even follow this road going back home from because of the flood. Sometimes there are cases of where children are being drawn along the line. So it's a very serious problem.
The governor also visited the Imo State Teaching Hospital, Olu, where a 200-bed medical facility is being constructed, which is expected to significantly improve the healthcare service for the people of Imo State. Governor Hope Uzodinma shifted his focus to the Umuchima erosion site, a long-standing ecological challenge threatening the livelihood and safety of residents in the south and north of the state, assuring the communities that his administration is fully committed to controlling the erosion and preventing further damage to the area. He expressed confidence that the project will be completed in record time with significant improvement to both the environment and the safety of residents. With the governor's assurance and ongoing efforts to address key infrastructure needs, residents remain hopeful that these projects will bring long-lasting improvement to the state, enhancing the well-being and quality of life for all. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Imo State correspondent Amarachi Ibe right there reporting. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, has cautioned state governments against announcing a minimum wage that is not negotiated with organized labor at the state level. President of the Congress, Festus Osifo, stated this in Abuja while speaking at the end of the National Executive Council meeting of the Central Labor Body. He explained that minimum wage is not a standalone wage structure, but also the consequential adjustment of wages that involves other categories of workers. The Congress's boss, who lamented the industrial dispute over wages in Cross River and Zamfara states, urged the two states to be responsive to the welfare of its workers. Edo State Police Command has ordered an investigation into the circumstances that led to the death of a former chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Comrade Kaduna Eboegbodin, at a police checkpoint in Benin City. The command spokesman, SP Moses Yamu, says the State Commissioner of Police, Sumoro Ozigi, gave the order while commiserating with the widow, family, and friends of the deceased over the loss and prayed for the repose of his soul. As we turn to other stories for you tonight, the trial of the immediate past governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, and his finance commissioner, Ademola Banu, have been arraigned before Justice Mahmood Abdul Ghaffar of the Kwara State High Court in Ilorin, the state capital, over alleged stealing and mismanagement of public funds to the tune of 5.78 billion naira. The governor and his finance commissioner were among others accused of having conspired to steal money meant for payment of salaries of teachers working with the Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board. However, the duo pleaded not guilty and were consequently admitted to bail, and the case was adjourned for trial. The European Union has called on the ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government to commit to the full implementation of the provisions of the National Disability Act. The call was made by Geeta Minot, EU's ambassador-designate to Nigeria and ECOWAS, during a national dialogue held in Abuja to mark this year's International Day of Persons with Disabilities. You're watching the live broadcasts of News Prime here on Global Television. When we return, we have more for you coming from foreign, business, and sports segments. Do stay with us. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us here on the live broadcast of News Prime with Uyi Agmofwegbe. In business, the Senate has stated that deliberations on the tax reform bills have neither been suspended nor withdrawn, affirming its commitment to advancing them. During plenary, Senate President Godswill Akpabio said the upper chamber remains focused on its mandate to represent Nigeria's interests. Akpabio further reiterated that the Senate would not be intimidated by external pressure amidst the furor surrounding the bills. Pension fund administrators have channeled 13.6 trillion naira into government securities, marking a 16% year-on-year surge, according to the latest data from the National Pension Commission. The milestone reinforces the dominance of government securities in Nigeria's pension industry, accounting for a significant portion of the total assets under management. The reports indicated that the value of the total AUM increased by 3% month-on-month and 22% to 21.9 trillion naira as at end October 2024. In terms of asset composition, the dynamics of the asset mix for pension AUM remained relatively unchanged, with the majority of pension holdings concentrated in government securities. On the foreign scene, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has unveiled ambitious and credible plans to reform housing, boost police numbers, and fix ailing health services in a de facto relaunch of his government after a bumpy first 5 months in power. The Labour leader laid out 6 targets to take the country forward, on which voters can judge his administration, seeking to move from several unpopular decisions that have overshadowed his fledgling premiership. Starmer noted that the plan for change includes missions to make the country strong, make working people better off, and the government will deliver. Let's turn to other stories for you on the foreign scene. Togo is to hold its first elections for the upper house of parliament, the Senate, on February 2nd, one of the last steps towards implementing a contested new constitution. That's according to the government. The overhaul abolishes the election of the head of state by universal suffrage and introduces a parliamentary system. It has been slammed by opposition and civil society groups as a ploy by President Faure Gnassingbé to hold on to power indefinitely. Togo's strongman has ruled over the small West African country of 8.8 million people since 2005, when he took over from his father for 38 years. Under the previous constitution, Gnassingbé would have been able to run for the presidency just one more time in 2025. And beyond Africa now, New York police are continuing to search for a suspect after the head of U.S. insurance company United Healthcare was shot and killed in what they have called a targeted attack. Brad Thompson was shot in the back and leg about outside the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Investigators say the words deny, defend, and depose were written on the shell casings recovered at the scene of the attack. Colombian Finance Minister Ricardo Bonilla has resigned at the request of President Gustavo Petro after accusations that he turned a blind eye to the bribery of parliamentarians. A former advisor accused Bonilla last week of knowing that lawmakers were being paid off in return for backing key reforms promised by Petro. The Attorney General's office alleges the bribes were paid with $200,000 taken from public funds, but Bonilla has maintained his innocence. However, Petro said at a press conference that Bonilla would be replaced by his deputy, Diego Guevara. And that takes us to sports now, where there's so much of excitement waiting for you. The draw for the expanded FIFA Club World Cup takes place in Miami, offering our first glimpse into the fine detail of a tournament that has been viewed with indifference or even outright hostility across parts of football world. 32 star-studded club teams will battle it out in gleaming state-of-the-art arenas in what is effectively a curtain raiser for the 2026 World Cup, taking place a year later in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The Super Falcons and Paris FC shortstopper Chiamaka Nnadozie has been named in the final shortlist of 5 to battle for the prestigious CAF Women's Player of the Year, to be decided at the Palais de Congrès de Marrakech, Morocco on December 16. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, unveiled the top 5 nominees in each of the women's categories at the upcoming 2024 CAF Awards, with Nnadozie, who listed for the Women's Goalkeeper of the Year prize, which she incidentally won last year. As we end News Prime here tonight, let's take a quick look at some of our big stories. Vice President Kashif Shettima has called for an education system capable of addressing modern challenges. And business pension fund administrators have channeled over 13 trillion naira into government securities, marking a 16% year-on-year surge. On the foreign scene, New York police are continuing to search for a suspect after the head of U.S. insurance company United Healthcare was shot and killed. And finally, in sport, we told you the draw for the expanded FIFA Club World Cup takes place in Miami, Florida, offering a first glimpse into the fine detail of a tournament that has been viewed with indifference. And that's all I have for you here tonight on News Prime on Global Television. I am Uyag Mofwegbe, thanking you very specially on behalf of the entire production team here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, for spending a part of your time with us. Just to remind you that you should kindly engage with us across all our social media platforms using the handle at Global TV NG, as well as the others as you now see on your screen. Also, note that you can find Global Television on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nigerian Cats. We'll see you again.